What's up everyone, and welcome to a new series I'm bringing to this channel. Small Market Stars is where I have a look at underappreciated players that play for small market teams. If we're being honest, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the reason why I wanted to make this series. He isn't getting enough credit, and I feel like he's often way too disrespected. Reports even came out during the 2021 NBA draft that the Oklahoma City Thunder and many other teams believed that players like Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Jalen Green were all already better players than Shai, which just baffles me. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has had many great games in the league, and ranking him lower than players that have never played professionally is just straight up disrespectful. I believe Shai has the potential to be a top 5 guard in the league, and his ceiling is enormously high. With just a little media coverage, I think he's already shown the world what he can do. He has a great personality on and off the court, while in my opinion having some of the best fashion in the league. Before we have a look at what makes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander great and underappreciated, I wanted to remind you to leave a like on the video if you think Shai is underrated. It only takes 2 seconds to leave a like and it's free, while also helping out my channel to reach new people. Subscribe to stay notified whenever I post, which is daily, so that you don't miss another great video regarding the NBA. And while you're there, leave a comment letting me know which small market star I should do next, or any other topics you'd like to see me make a video on. Now without further ado, let's have a look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't have too exciting of a college career. He had a one and done year at Kentucky that started off with him coming off the bench. He eventually worked his way into the starting lineup and had a great impact. He helped Kentucky to the 5th seed in the South region after winning the SEC tournament MVP. Kentucky made it to the Sweet 16 after getting some fairly easy matchups versus the 12th seeded Davidson Wildcats and then the 13th seeded Buffalo Bulls. Kentucky ended up losing to the 9th seeded Kansas State Wildcats as that game saw Shai miss the game-tying shot from 3. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finished his one and done year in college averaging 14.4 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 5.1 assists on fairly well efficiency. The next stop for him was the NBA draft. Despite being drafted in the lottery at the 11th overall pick in the 2018 draft, he wasn't talked about much early on. Scouts loved his work ethic, ability to learn, and his good IQ, but didn't speak too highly on his offensive game. He was compared to Ron Harper on draft night, which isn't too bad of a person to be compared to, but that meant his ceiling was considered quite low. Some people wrote articles saying that he could be the perfect role player for a team, which was viewed as the best case scenario for Shai. Like I said before, he was selected with the 11th overall pick by the Charlotte Hornets and was immediately traded to the Clippers for Miles Bridges and 2 second-round picks. SGA meshed really well with the Clippers as they were all defensive-minded, grinded-out guys. Just like in college, Shai started out coming off the bench but quickly took over the starting 2-guard spot in LA. He had a decent rookie campaign which saw him get all-rookie second-team honors and a playoff appearance. After losing to the Warriors in the first round, the LA Clippers would decide to blow it up in order to create the super team that they currently have. Apparently the front office was heartbroken to part ways with Shai so early on in his career, but they ended up pulling the trigger because he would be the centerpiece in a trade to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Paul George. Shai would finish his rookie year averaging 10.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. I'm sure Shai must have personally felt a little bit offended about the trade, but going to OKC would mean that Shai would have the keys to the team. Usually being passed down from one team to another hurts a young player's development. It's a new environment, new system, and new teammates, but SGA took a giant leap forward. He must have felt like MJ out there because he took that trade personally. Shai would finish his first year in OKC averaging 19 points, almost 6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists while having almost the same percentages but on plenty more shot attempts. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led his team in points, was 2nd in rebounds, 2nd in steals, and 3rd in assists. All of these stats came with a near 50-win season and the 5th seed out in the West. Though his time in the playoffs was fairly short, he made an impression by almost knocking out the loaded Houston Rockets. Last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finished his 3rd season in the NBA, and I wanted to highlight just a few notable games that he's had in his career so far. On October 25th of 2019, Shai put up 28 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, while also making 2 threes against the Washington Wizards. On December 20th, 2019, Shai dropped 32 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal on a very efficient 13 from 18 from the field, as well as notching up 2 triples against the Phoenix Suns. In a revenge game against the Clippers on December 22nd of 2019, Shai put up 32 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 made threes in a close victory. On January 13th, 2020, Shai had a monster triple-double stat against the Timberwolves, having 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists while shooting 8 for 12 from the field. Just a few nights after that, on the 18th, Shai would drop 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting 9 for 17 from the field against Portland. Just 5 days later, Shai had 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists against the San Antonio Spurs, and on March 4th, 2020, Shai dropped 27 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks while shooting a very efficient 12 for 15 from the field. All of those games came in one season, and not even his most recent season. Just a few other notable games he had last year before getting injured was 42 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists against the Spurs, 33 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists against the Bulls, and 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists against the stacked LA Lakers. SGA's best game by far would have to be his first career triple-double against Minnesota. This was the second 20-20-10 stat line recorded in the last 30 years, and Shai was the youngest to achieve it at only 21 years old. He's had some magnificent games in his sophomore and third years as he put up pretty consistent numbers. This is rare to see from such a young guy, especially someone who's the #1 option. His ability to do the little things makes him so valuable as he contributes to every aspect of the game and in the box scores. So that begs the question. You probably haven't heard of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because despite his recent success with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were never expected to be good. In his first year with OKC, ESPN gave them a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs, so it would take a 60-win season for them to get major recognition. It also didn't help that Shai was largely overshadowed by his all-star teammate Chris Paul in his second year. Once Chris Paul left, Shai was given the keys to completely run the offense, and he did it successfully. The only problem was that he only got to play 35 games before going down with a season-ending injury. Additionally, the Oklahoma City Thunder are an extremely small market team. Plus, with the Western Conference being as stacked as it is, small market teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder never get enough coverage. Fans need to do their own research to find out that the Oklahoma City Thunder organization are the real deal. You should care about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now so that you can get on the hype train early. SGA has shown the potential that he can develop very quickly, so I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an all-star appearance in the next 2 or so years. He can be the next great scorer in the NBA, and he does it so stylishly. If you watch his highlights, you'd see how silky smooth his game was and how he seemingly has an infinite amount of ways to finish at the rim. He's gonna have some insane highlights in the future, so prepare yourself. From here, I can definitely see him leading the Oklahoma City Thunder team for years to come, especially when you add the fact that OKC has 1 million picks, which means they can find different prospects to help fill in the holes in the team while being led by Shai. I think Shai's ceiling is through the roof, and at his full potential, he can be one of the best players in the league. There isn't too much critique to say about his game, honestly. The only 2 things that I could say about him is that he could use a little improvement on his offensive decision making and strength. At times, it seems like Shai is too hesitant on offense and doesn't drive to the lane or pull up when he can. That just comes with confidence, and it will come with time as well, so I'm not too worried. Secondly, he needs to bulk up a little. Right now, he's 6'5" and has really good size for the shooting guard position, but he only weighs 180 pounds. He'll get bullied by larger players when he drives to the lane as he gets pushed around by stronger guys in the post. Bulking up is really easy in the NBA though, with professional dietitians and trainers to help you out. I'd like to see him get to 210 to 215 pounds in the next few years, which I'm sure he can do. Before we get on to the conclusion, I wanted to remind you to like the video because it's free and only takes 2 seconds. Also, if you've made it this far, it means you're enjoying the content, so leave a like and subscribe, as both of those help me out to bring out even more content for you guys. Leave a comment letting me know which small market star I should do next or any other topics you'd like to see me do. Thank you, and now let's get on to the conclusion. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the best young players in the league today, and it doesn't seem like he has any major flaws to his game. He works hard, plays defense, can score and rebound while also passing. The only things that he needs to change are fixable, so he has a very bright future ahead of him. He will likely be known as the steal of the 2018 draft in a few years, and I'm here for it. I also want to add a player comparison for this series, so I'd like to say that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's ceiling is David Thompson, and his floor is DeJounte Murray. I chose David Thompson because he was a 25 point per game scorer that played really great defense as well. He averaged about a block and a steal a game for his career, which is also close to Shai's numbers. For his floor, I said DeJounte Murray because he's not a bad player on offense, and he's a great defender and a valuable role player, which I'm sure Shai can be as well. And that does it. Make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to show support, as it helps my small channel to grow. I won't hold y'all back for any longer, so until next time, cheers.